Well, today was supposed to be the day the cities of Windsor and Detroit celebrated the opening of the Gordie Howe International Bridge, linking the two communities across the Detroit River. The $6.4 billion crossing is physically complete and ready to open. But Prime Minister Mark Carney said yesterday that its launch has been delayed at the request of the United States, citing what he described as outstanding issues and a series of technical aspects. We heard similar language from the interim CEO of the Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority, who said in a statement that Canada and the United States have agreed to postpone the opening while outstanding issues are resolved. Earlier this year, President Trump threatened to delay the bridge's opening, saying the United States should be compensated before it enters into service. For more, I'm joined by Dwight Duncan, former Ontario Deputy Premier and Finance Minister, and former Chair of the Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority. That's the Crown Corporation responsible for overseeing the construction and the future operation of the Gordie Howe International Bridge. Mr. Duncan, thanks very much for making time for this. I appreciate it.
Good to be with you, Marc-André.
So the bridge is complete. There was a lot of anticipation on both sides of the border, but the opening has now been delayed at the request of the United States. What do you think is driving that decision?
The negotiations. I don't envy the Prime Minister and the Canadian folks who are dealing with the U.S. administration. I was frankly surprised when they announced they were going to do the ribbon cutting this week. When it got canceled, I really wasn't surprised. What was happening didn't kind of jive with everything else that appeared to be going on.
Right, and were you surprised then that Prime Minister Carney came out earlier, saying that this was actually going to go ahead this week?
Pleasantly surprised, yes. And obviously things changed between Tuesday and Wednesday, and not unusual in Trump world. And like I say, I don't envy them having to deal with it. The bridge is complete. It's ready to go. The issues that are outstanding are not technical. They have nothing to do with the infrastructure itself. It's political, and I don't know what they are, by the way, but in my view, it's all tied into CUMSA and Trump probably not wanting to let go of any of the leverage he has in negotiations.
Well, on that, the American owners of the neighboring Ambassador Bridge, the Maroon family, they have long opposed the Gordie Howe project. They've lobbied the Trump administration against it. Do you get the sense that it's those lobbying efforts that are really making the difference here, or do the president and his team just simply see the Gordie Howe Bridge as just one more bargaining chip they have to play in those CUSMA talks?
Yeah, the Maroons have lost every fight they've had, even with Trump, and so it's to be expected. It's legally, it's all done. Every I is dotted, T is crossed. And so as Gordie's son Murray said in an interview yesterday, we have to be patient. And Gordie would recommend that we be patient. And I think that's wise words, particularly in the current environment. And by the way, this isn't a Windsor-Detroit matter. This bridge connects really the vast majority of the Quebec City to Windsor corridor, particularly with the Midwest and southeastern and southwest parts of the United States. It's a major border crossing. The impact of this bridge will actually be measurable and improve productivity in Canada. So it's a lot more than a Windsor-Detroit thing, a lot more, which is why Canada chose to move forward and has moved forward, I might add, under 4 prime ministers now, 5 presidents of the United States. I'm sorry, 4 presidents, count Trump twice. And so it's unfortunate. And it's a symptom of a much larger problem that Canada, Ontario, and frankly, anyone in the world that has to deal with the U.S. government is dealing with.
Mm-hmm. Earlier this year, the president said he wants to see the U.S. compensated before the bridge opens. Now, of course, Canada did finance the entire $6.4 billion project. The expectation was it would recoup that investment through the toll revenues, and then it would share the proceeds with the state of Michigan, which co-owns the bridge. Do you see any scenario in which that arrangement is revisited, and should Canada even entertain that possibility, do you think?
Personally, the deal was struck 12 years ago. and agreed to by all parties. Um, it was done and it was recommended by the Americans, frankly. And so basically, Canada financed the construction. Michigan's tolls will pay their portion, their half. And once their half is paid, then the tolls will again accrue to them. It was a deal that was signed off on and been respected by Republicans governors, Democratic governors. Um, and so and there again, every I was dotted and T was crossed. So this, any kind of intervention, by anybody at this point, and don't forget, there's a private sector consortium that's a third, 15% interest in this as well. And anything that interferes with what has been agreed to, formally tested in court, will no doubt create a lot of work for lawyers and a lot of headaches for exporters and importers.
We did hear yesterday from Windsor Mayor Drew Dilkins. He has said that it's, quote, a darn shame that the bridge won't open as planned. But he also noted that thanks to the president's tariffs, trade is down. The Ambassador Bridge right now is handling those trade flows just fine. So he doesn't seem to think the government should, go to the White House on bent knee, as he put it. How do you see the urgency, or maybe the lack thereof, to get this bridge open as soon as possible, or right now?
I think Mayor Dilkins is right. I think that we should not go on bended knee. This bridge is the product of, again, the work of 4 presidents of the United States, 4 prime ministers of Canada, 4 governors of Michigan, 5 premiers of Ontario, not to mention local officials. And, I think the prime minister is taking absolutely the right approach. This is, we just have to, we're going to have to deal with what we have to deal with, and try to be a little restrained in our language. I think the prime minister is doing a very good job of that. This can be very frustrating. I mean, I found it very frustrating. I'm glad I'm no longer part of it, because I don't think I have the patience for this, but it is what it is. And as Gordie's son said yesterday, Gordie would want us to be patient.
Well, just on that.
It will come online.
Yeah, just on that. The bridge is named after Gordie Howe. He's known, of course, as Mr. Hockey, but also as Mr. Elbows for his fond use of those elbows against his opponents on the ice. Of course, Elbows Up did become a rallying cry last year against the president's tariffs and his threat to make Canada the 51st state. You've already alluded to this a little bit, but as Canada now has to navigate yet another impasse with the Trump administration, what other lessons do you think Canada should be taking from Mr. Hockey himself?
Well, I think Gordie Howe symbolized the positive relationships between Canada and the United States. A boy from Saskatchewan became a hero in Detroit and arguably across much of the United States. He was a living and breathing symbol of what has made our 2 countries close over all these years. And so I'm optimistic that we will get through this. Our trading relationship has been tested on many occasions in the past. Quite right that this is different. This is more hostile. Our partner is less reliable than it used to be, but we'll get through it. There's going to be trade between Canada and the United States. Lots of it. I remind people the reason Henry Ford set up the Ford Motor Company Canada way back, I think in 1904, was to access the British Empire and tariff relief, which Canada was a part of. So we have functioned for a long time under different regimes, political regimes, legal regimes. The Otto Pact was probably the most recent prior to free trade. And I believe our American friends will come to the table at some point, will act in good faith as they historically have, And I believe we have the right team in Canada representing us and debating with the Americans, with President Trump, the issues. They're smart. They know what we're capable of, and I have to continue to have faith that they will strike the kind of deal that we need to proceed down the road. Does that mean there will be no tariffs? No. Does that mean there won't be changes? No, it doesn't mean that at all. There will be, obviously. Does that mean the Gordie Howe Bridge has been slowed down? Yes, it does. And it is what it is. And real leaders, in my view, will do what Gordie would have done, and that's been patient in this and work through the issues.
Dwight Duncan, former chair of the Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority, thanks again for your time today. I appreciate it.
Nice to be with you. Have a great day.